Indigenous organizations of Colombia and different lawmakers have gathered to bring attention to the conditions of extreme vulnerability that indigenous children are living under in different and various states across the country. Our correspondent Natalia Margarita now reports from Bogotá.
En nuestros territorios.
A world where we can live in harmony with the Mother Earth. That's what Indigenous Colombian Sofia called for as lawmakers released frightening figures on indigenous children. 70% are suffering from malnutrition and 60% live under poverty, a reality that contrasts with Colombia's president's discourse at the recent UN Sustainable Development Summit.
We just wonder, how come? How come we can speak about peace and about development in our country when we have some of our children literally dying of starvation, when we do not have access to any long-term projects that can possibly guarantee sustainability for our indigenous peoples in Colombia?
Right in the border with Venezuela, in the department of Guajira, is where indigenous children have starved to death. Some local leaders talk about 5,000 dead, while the government has acknowledged some 300. But beyond numbers is a fact that children are dying from malnutrition in a region where mining multinationals have promised to bring development.
This does not have any possible explanation. We simply don't understand why children have to die in a state which has lots of money. The state of Guajira receives big payments for royalties, and children continue to die even though there are economic resources available.
The government has said that with peace will come better social conditions. For indigenous leaders, however, the precarious living conditions have more to do with the state abandonment than directly with the armed conflict.
That's not the way to construct peace, even less sustainable development. The government continues to privilege the interest of multinational companies, placing those economic interests above those of the citizens, above the interest of the victims, those of us who have been stripped of our lands and continue to be victims of this economic model.
The indigenous communities have also denounced that instead of the very much needed state care, what they have been receiving from the government is stigmatization and criminalization of their leaders, the very same people who are fighting for peace but with social justice. Natalia Margarita, Telesur, Bogotá.